Hello, welcome to Wednesday's class. If you haven't turned in your paper, I think a few of you still have not. Remember, you have till 5 o'clock on Wednesday to do so. Just a couple other things. Tomorrow, I'll do a little financial video, and then we'll have our um, review. So the financial video, I'll probably just go to the archives and pull one out that I did last summer because it's the same information. So we'll do the financial um, block, and then look for another one where I'll give you a review for the test because guess what? So on Friday, we're going to have a test. It'll be very easy. Make it easy. I'll kind of tell you on Thursday what I'll go over it. We'll have another paper due or assigned later this week. And heck, we're making our way through. We're almost done with this class, which is crazy. We're going to have 2 tests in the next couple weeks and some more papers, and we'll get through this thing. Make it easy on you guys, and hopefully learn a lot about our business over the next couple weeks. We're just finishing up kind of the management part. Tomorrow we'll talk about financial management, and then over the next couple weeks we'll just go through like parts of electronic media that you need to know, need to talk about, need to learn, and need to go with. So we've been worrying about assessing our management skills and how all that comes together. Great stuff. I'm really appreciating what people are putting in on the discussion boards. I don't really like the discussion board setup. I don't know how you guys feel about that. So you can also comment on that if you want. I don't really love the discussion boards, but that's really what I'm dealing with. Hey, I wanted to show you this video before we start. We're going to talk today about leadership versus management and some of the things you have to deal with as a leader. And I love this little video. I show it every semester in my class. And let's watch this about the monkeys.
What we did is we put 2 capuchin monkeys side by side, and if you give both of them cucumber for the task, the 2 monkeys side by side, they're perfectly willing to do this 25 times in a row. If you give them grapes, it's a far better food, then you create inequity between them. So she gives a rock to us, that's the task, and we give her a piece of cucumber and she eats it. The other one needs to give a rock to us, and that's what she does. And she gets a grape. And she eats it. The other one sees that. She gives a rock to us now, gets again cucumber. She tests a rock now against the wall. She needs to give it to us. And she gets cucumber again. So this is basically the Wall Street protest that you see here. Let me tell you, I still have 2 minutes left. Let me tell you a funny story about this. This study became very famous, and we got a lot of comments, especially anthropologists, economists, philosophers. They didn't like this at all because they had decided in their mind, I believe, that fairness is a very complex issue and that animals cannot have it. And so one philosopher even wrote us that it was impossible that monkeys had a sense of fairness because fairness was invented during the French Revolution. So now, and another one wrote a whole chapter.
So that's just it. But the point you want to take on that is management, right? That's what management is. Management is dealing with all of those things and dealing with, hey, that person makes more than I make. That person gets this. I don't get that. And I always try to tell people, hey, look, you signed on for this job for what you're making and where you are now, and you try to make a fair deal, and you can't worry about what other people are doing. Again, there's got to be you've got to be equitable. You've got to have some equity there, and you've got to have people dealing with things that are taking care of you. But you can't worry about other things. And, if you're an athlete, you can't worry about playing time, right? You just do what you can do. You just control what you can control about yourself. And that's what we want to make that a test question. Control what you can control. Don't worry about the other things. So that leads to a little bit about leadership and being a leader. And again, we've got a student athlete here in the class. We've got others that are in leadership positions. And what you want to do is show this is the iceberg, right? You see what's underneath the iceberg, and everyone is dealing with those things. And on the outside, you've got to be one thing. And underneath you might be something different. And sometimes the things that are underneath can really hurt you or cost you. And you look at some of the people in our history that have been doomed by personal issues or personality issues or something that's been bothering them. And we've just seen that this summer with Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain as guys that seem to have it all together and seem to have everything that they would ever want. They have the life that they're leading and so many things going their way. We can see what's underneath. And so you've got to look at that for yourself, control what's underneath for yourself, but also from what you can see, above you. And you just have to make sure that you leave your problems at the door. And but you also have to know the people you're dealing with as a manager. Think of all the things they've got going on in their life, and you try to manage them effectively. I always use the duck comparison. Duck's working hard underneath, but on top, smooth, cruising along, no issues, feeling good. Duck's feeling good. That's what you need to be. So we're talking about leadership. Leadership is influencing people to get things done to a standard and quality above their norm and doing it willingly. Most coaches are leaders, are great leaders, right? There's a difference between being a manager and being a leader. Anybody can be a manager. Somebody gets a job, they get promoted just because, for whatever reason. But a leader is somebody that gets things from you that you don't typically get from other people. That's what makes a great leader, a great coach, somebody that can get you to want to do something and get you to go above and beyond what you would normally do. It's a great test question. Simply define, management is controlling people and getting them to do things, while leadership is influencing people to do things willingly. Leadership and management. The greatest thing is when you have a good manager who's a great leader. Sometimes you have a good manager but not a good leader. You have a good leader but not really somebody that wants to be in management. When you get those two together, then you've got a little magic. So we want to talk today about a boss versus a leader. Anywhere you've worked in some of you've had jobs, and you know that people get put in positions sometimes that they're not capable of handling. They're just a boss. A leader is somebody you want to follow. So John Maxwell has a guy who has a lot of things about leadership, and he takes you through some levels of leadership. Level number one is position, right? To be a lot of times a leader or a boss, you've got to be in the position. Be in the position to do it. There's a great book that's called Good to Great that talks about how you can take a good company and make it a great company. And what do the great companies have that really tie in together that makes them great? And he says there's a will that goes with humility. And you're a better leader if you're humble and you show some humility. Jim Collins says that. So what we look at is management is organized along hierarchical positions and authority. A position as a manager, supervisor, gives the person the authority to accomplish certain tasks and objectives in the organization. You've got to have the position. You can't make some decisions sometime if you're not in the position. You can't say, hey, I'm going to decide what we're going to air on our station if you don't have the position to do it. So it's a key. Number one key is position. But it doesn't make you a leader. It simply makes you the boss. Simply makes you a manager. Simply makes you a person in something that can make those decisions. Leadership differs. That makes the people, the subordinates, want to achieve those high goals, achieve the goals that you established for them. So going back, you could be in the spot, you could be in the position, you could be the manager, you could be the boss. Doesn't make you a leader. So you have to be in those positions, but you got to have the position. It's hard sometimes to be the guy on the assembly line and you're going to be the leader because you're just not in the position to make that happen. Leadership is not about position all the time. People in position of authority are not all leaders. So that's the difference. The person running the show doesn't necessarily make them a leader. The general manager could just be an awful leader. So people in position of authority are not all leaders. People who are not good leaders are found in positions of authority. They're there for a lot of reasons because they've been there the longest. They're better politically. Or there's a myriad of other reasons. They're the brother-in-law. They're the cousin. They know things. They whatever. They've got put up a good front that you don't know about. You just don't know why people get put in those positions. Back to John Maxwell. His level 2. Level 1 was position. You've got to be in the position, even though sometimes people in the position are not good at it. Level 2 is the permission. So an effective leader should have the following skills. Remember we talked about skills. They should have personal skills, which comes along with communication skills. You should be a good communicator. That's why I always tell you people, learn to write, hone your writing skills, hone your public speaking skills, do all those things, because a good communicator will always eventually make their way up the org chart, right? You got to be a thinker. You've got to think. Got to be able to listen to input and take everything you've learned and put them in some sort of situation where you can succeed. Got to be able to delegate. It's hard sometimes to delegate because you want to do it yourself. You've got to be able to say, you do this, you do this, you do this. And you've got to be good at making decisions. Those are just some things an effective leader has. Personal skill. Leader must have the ability to motivate and influence internally first. Has he, and I've tried to go through there and do he or she. He has to impress himself before he is able to impress others. Go back to here. Right? If you got all that baggage underneath, it's hard for you to impress yourself, right? Much less others. So you've got to be able to take care of your baggage. You must focus on self-mastery, self-management, self-direction. You need to have self-discipline. You practice these things until they become habits. So when you come into work in the morning, here's one thing. I have so many emails. So when I come into work in the morning, I get caught up on emails. I have to master, I have to practice, say, you know what? I'm going to look at emails at a certain time of day. You have to be able to manage yourself. Thinking. Recognizes the condition, plans the strategies, reaches the goals, and aware of the tools they need to accomplish the mission. And then he or she learns from the experience and assigns meanings to the ideas and understanding. Hey, that didn't work. Here's why it didn't work. This is what we're going to do going forward. Skilled leader has great thinking skills. Communication skills, obviously. Send and receive information of data effectively. Be an active listener. Good oral skills. Good writing skills. Good presentation skills. Good, being able to stand up on the. I wish that's why I don't like this class here, and I should make you do it. Maybe I will do it on a video, right? Just be able to set up a video and go. Here's what we're doing. Matter of fact, our second assignment is going to be a video assignment. And so just because you have to be able to write out your thoughts and present them and make a presentation. Delegating. A leader delegates a certain amount of power to people to make decisions. You believe in other people, give them the opportunity, you empower them, tell them what you want, let them go. You make the person understand the result you're trying to produce. The person who receives the authority is someone capable and motivated to get the job done. So, I don't give an intern a memo. I don't say, hey, write a strategic plan for me for social media that I can give to my boss, Kirby Hookup. They're not someone capable. They're not someone that has that authority. I would give it to my number 2 guy. I could see that. Not only can you delegate, but you got to know who to delegate to. And then once you have delegated, offer assistance, offer opinions, try not to control everything. And then also, responsible leaders aware that they gain leadership skills from the knowledge of other leaders. They learn from others, and then they try to pass it on and train other people. And then decision-making skills is make decisions, get the information, think and act fast, and then have the courage to make the decisions, even if it involves taking some risks. I told you about the program that I decided to carry on PBS. I had to take in all the information and then make a decision. And again, you have to have the courage to understand it may not be the right one, but we're going to do it. Maxwell's level 3 is production. You've got to be somebody that produces in your job and what you're doing. You can't just be somebody that's sitting there and not understanding what's going on and not being part of the process. You got to have production. You got to have certain competencies. Competence can be defined as the ability of an individual to perform a task using his or her knowledge and then education, skills, and experience. So you're going to class now to learn all kinds of different things, and it's going to be part of what you do. And you're going to have an education. You're going to have a degree from Texas Tech University. And you're going to have it in public relations or communications or whatever it's going to be in. And then you're going to have skills that you've learned. And then eventually you're going to have experience, and you're going to use all those as part of your competencies. And then level 4 is people development. You need to be able to build a high performing team. So there's 7 key leadership competencies part of that. Influencing others. I got the wrong one on the next one. Level 4. Look, I got 2 level 4s. People development. The next one's level 5. Influencing others. Making people accountable. Hey, that was on you. That was on me. Those kind of things. Build a positive working relationship. Coaching people. Communicating with them. Working effectively together. All that creates a high performing team. And that's part of your people development. You want people working for you that want your job. You don't want them to want your job so badly that they try to poison you or something, but you want them to want what you're doing, and they want you to be in the position that you're in. And that should be level 5, which is pinnacle. It means once you've reached a certain part, a certain thing in your career, you've reached a point in your career, and they're really, some people, now, obviously, you become like Ed Whittaker, one of the greatest CEOs of all time, a Texas Tech graduate, was the CEO of General Motors, was the CEO of AT&T. That guy's reached the pinnacle, right? He's a leader. He's reached the pinnacle. He's been the CEO of 2 Fortune top 10 companies. Hard to top that, a guy like that. He's reached pinnacle, which also, you don't get to be in that spot, in that position, if you're not a tremendous leader. So again, remember that. And think of people that you've worked with. Are they a good boss? Are they great leader? Are they just a boss? Yes. And I'm reading on some of your thoughts about other things you've had of good bosses and bad bosses. You've got people that you clearly might respect to a certain extent, but you don't really trust them, or you don't really think of them as a leader. You just think of somebody that's signing your paycheck or signing your time card or whatever. They're not true leaders. So if you want to be truly effective and you want to move on and you want to move up, you want to be a great leader. And so you want to deal with all those things as you move forward in your career. So again, boss, leader, there is certainly a difference. All right, so that's it for the leadership component of this, being a boss versus being a leader and having leadership skills. Again, remember, we're going to have a financial management, and then we're going to have a test review. And so we'll do those and get those working out. So appreciate you sticking with me. Check out the discussion board. Put this in. This class is really easy, right? This is an easy class. Easy 3 weeks for you to take this summer. So keep working and keep getting yourself involved.